Well done, Ollie. That was some ride. We don't know where, obviously, not everyone's finished yet. So, but you're pleased with the performance, the first one of 2023.
Yes, it's a bit of a rude awakening. It's not really a straightforward course. There's quite a few lumps in it. The winds played quite a big factor as well today. So it was a really good hit out first one of the year. It's a really good indication of where the legs are actually at.
Yeah.
I mean, starting to go into sort of early season classics, shall we say now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a good point of where people are at the moment. Obviously, it's not a massive field that's here today, but there are still a couple of quick guys here as well. But yeah, the backside of the course today, slightly draggy, really strong headwind as well, so it was always going to be a tricky one. And then it's a fast finish at least, downhill tailwind, but in between those
bits. You're on a new
bits,
bike as well, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm on the new Oro Venturi Tri for the year. trainSharp have very kindly given me that one to ride. It's rapid from what I've seen so far. So now we've just got to wait for the new team kit for the year to be made, get all that delivered, and then get a final package put together.
Yeah. And you talk about this being like your first race and seeing where you are. I have heard from athletes before, riders before, whereby they say training can actually be harder than racing. What about yourself? Is that the case, or?
Well, I've just come back from Tenerife, so that was pretty hard. So
that would have been windy.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point of the year, you get people that are going really well, or some people that are just warming up into it. So some people have come off a really strong winter, had some really good training over there. But some people, they need the racing in the legs to get into a bit more. So, and I'm sort of one of those people. But yeah, over the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks' time, then we start to get into sort of the national rounds and everything. So yeah, we've got Cycle Classic 23rd of April, and then Lincoln 15th of May, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, we've still got a couple of months to go before that, but it should be enough time for the legs to properly get going.
Well, you're obviously very motivated, which, considering the bombshell of last year with Ribble closing, the team closing, that can be very demotivating. But you're obviously still very motivated, looking at the time today. And
yeah, so I was working with Colin Sturgis quite a bit. He was helping me quite a bit, like finding a ride. I was close to being on the squad with him at 80-85 this year, but it just didn't materialise in the end, sadly. But yeah, I mean, trainSharp, they've really helped this year. They've offered a lot of support. Obviously, all the bikes that all the elite guys get, coaching, everything like that. I mean, we've all just been out in Tenerife for 2 weeks, and we've really meshed.
So Chris was out there with you?
Yeah, so we had a couple of the juniors, a few of the development riders, and then all but one of the elites.
Yeah.
And everyone's just meshed really well for the year.
There was a lot of trainSharp branding going on.
Yeah. A lot of cyclists, so you can imagine how much food was eaten for those 2 weeks. Jesus. Yeah, everyone gets on really well, so it should be a pretty good year. Great bunch of lads.
Well, based on last year, I mean, the reason I've come down here today is to talk to you. Is you had a stunning 2022. Okay, I mean, you look, as I said to you earlier, you won a round of the Tour Series. Not many riders do that. You had some stunning names behind you in the Time Trial Championships. The Manx. That's a hard race. You got on a podium on one of the stages there. You had a good year.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. Funnily enough, after Manx, so we got back on the Sunday or the Monday. I ended up testing positive for COVID on the Wednesday. So that's why sort of the last 3 months of the year I wasn't really around anywhere.
Yeah.
I struggled quite a bit to get the fitness back, so that's why I ended up missing the Tour of Britain as well. Because it was
that's a fair chunk of the year then.
It was. We were supposed to be going to Loire-Cher at something like 10 o'clock in the morning on the Thursday after the Isle of Man race. I woke up with the sweats, massive headache at something like 3 a.m. in the morning on the Thursday. And I was like, I'll just do a test just in case, because it was something that I hadn't really had before, like those symptoms. And then yeah, it came back positive. So it was a message at 4 a.m. to the guy saying, sorry to drop this on you, but I'm not going with you later. So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing end to the year, because obviously Tour of Britain, it's the I mean, it went through my home village as well. Started in West Bridgeford, went through Ruddington. So I still went out and helped the guys for 2 of the days. I mean, we had quite a bit of misfortune, but then obviously it ended early on stage 4 in Nottingham. So yeah, it is what it is.
So those performances that you had though, are winning the Tour Series, etc. Has that helped you, motivate you to want to keep doing this, to keep going for whatever you can
Massively, yeah. I mean, it's going to be quite a different year this year to what it's been last year. So, for example, last year I was more of a supporting rider, whereas this year I'm going to be sort of...
You'll have more of a free roll to get results.
Exactly, yeah. So, obviously, we're not sure on if we're going to be doing the Tour Series just yet. Obviously, we're going to be doing all the same races that we did in 2022, but... I mean, we'll still go overseas and do a couple of UCI races, hopefully. Obviously, Tour Britain, that one's not going to be on the cards. But, yeah, there's still going to be plenty of opportunities out there to get some results and see what happens.
But when you're riding for a UCI team, because people, you know, I do publish results from abroad and everything else, and so-and-so's in 89th and so-and-so's in whatever. But sometimes you do have to have a team role, and you know you're not going for a result.
No, and that's the fact of bike racing. You're not always going to be the one that's going to be selected to go for race rings. So Cycle Classic last year, Cole said to me at the start, Ollie, your job, go off the front. Just make it easy for the guys. Finn and Stuart got to sit in for 4 hours. They had a nice easy day. I had a less stressful day than everyone else out front. Then in the end, they ended up winning and the team got victory. So it's all part and parcel of it. And it's just some riders have got to come to the realisation that they're not going to be the one that's selected to win every race, because not every race is going to suit the same rider. So, but that's just part of it.
And the winter's been good. I mean, when did you hook up with Chris as your coach, trainSharp Chris McNamara?
We started in around November.
Because I mean, there's not many guys who've got the experience that Chris has got.
No.
I mean, some of the guys he's coached.
Yeah, I mean, he still coached the likes of James Shaw and stuff, doesn't he? So, we started working with him November time. I had a couple of illnesses and a dodgy knee at one point, but the last sort of 6 weeks have been just progress. So, it's looking up to be quite a decent year from now.
And has the training changed much?
A bit. So it's at the moment, obviously in winter, a lot of it's just going to be miles, just getting the hours in the legs, really.
So you really haven't started your top end stuff yet? No,
I don't think I've done a single session where I've actually been having to hit over 400 watts for intervals or anything. So yes, it is still quite early in the process for that. But I mean, the legs are there today. It was a decent effort. I'm happy with what I've done, especially for being mid-Feb.
Well, I guess you know, having done a few seasons now, that it is only February and it is a long year.
Yeah,
there are those months, those 3 months where you've got to pack it all in.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if you're peaking in Feb when there's no big national races going on or anything, then it's you got to sort of think, what have you done that for, really? But I mean, everyone's different. Some people like to have a good start of the season, they'll have a mid-season break, and then they'll have another peak for the end of the year. So there's a couple of ways of doing it, but personally, like you mentioned, I'd prefer to have a few races in the legs first before getting going properly.
Well, final question then. As I just told you, talking about last year, a crit win, Tour Series, big crit win, time trial, fantastic time trial, and a road race, podium. Have you got a favourite? I mean, not a favourite result, but a favourite discipline. It's good results in all three.
I love time trials, so I mean, that crit I won the Tour Series in Manchester, in Barking. It was from a breakaway, obviously, so it was sort of like a time trial effort.
I think that was a duel though on the line, wasn't it?
It
Big
was,
sprint.
yeah, 0.006 seconds or something ridiculous. So yeah, it was a close one. But yeah, I think the time trialing is where it is, but then just transferred that over into the road races, and then.
I'm assuming that the Tour Series though it's a good atmosphere to win in front of.
Oh, it's ridiculous. So I mean, they are some of the best crowds, and obviously because it's not just one rider that you have to focus on, it's a whole team as well.
Yeah.
It's a whole new dynamic that it actually brings to the racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the atmosphere and the racing itself, Tour Series, because it is just off the rails, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the time trial stuff and just
Well,
transferring.
Chris is obviously, he loves his time trial.
Oh yeah.
And for a vet, he's a pretty damn fast vet. What about time trials this year then? Are there any, the Nationals obviously?
Yeah.
Are you doing any others?
It'll be all, so 10, 25, 50 maybe. Close circuit champs and the normal circuit champs. They're on the cards. I'm looking to do them. Team time trial obviously, because that's quite local to here. It's only in Stoke.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, those sort of 6 events, they're going to be quite high up there, and then obviously Nationals.
Yeah.
So see what happens.
Well, good luck with that.